Note: the following video depicts a specific configuration of the tablet. The same removal and replacement procedures apply to all configurations of the tablet. Before you begin, remove the display cover. Removal. Remove the shielding that covers the system board. Important: make careful note of which battery cable is soldered to each of the contact points on the system board. Carefully unsolder the battery cables from the contact points on the system board. Caution: to avoid shorting the battery, do not allow the battery leads to make contact with one another. Important: make careful note of the routing of the wireless antenna cables for later replacement. Remove the wireless antenna cable from the routing channel on the upper speaker. Remove the 4mm P0 Phillips-head screw that secures the upper speaker to the display panel assembly. Remove the upper speaker from the retention tab on the display panel assembly and set aside. Note: the upper speaker is held in place with double-sided adhesive. Remove the shield tape that secures the webcam cable to the display panel assembly. Carefully remove the rear-facing webcam from its position on the display panel assembly. Note: the rear-facing webcam is held in place with double-sided adhesive. Important: take care to not touch the camera lens. Using minimal force, lift the locking bar up on the rear-facing webcam ZIF connector and disconnect the rear-facing webcam ribbon cable from the system board. Caution: use care to prevent damaging the ZIF connector and ribbon cable. Using minimal force, lift the locking bar up on the I/O board ZIF connector and disconnect the I/O board ribbon cable from the system board. Caution: use care to prevent damaging the ZIF connector and ribbon cable. Remove the I/O board webcam ribbon cable from the adhesive that secures it to the display panel assembly. Remove the three 3mm P0 Phillips-head screws that secure the I/O board bracket to the display panel assembly. Remove the I/O board bracket from its position on the I/O board. Carefully remove the I/O board from the alignment pins on the display panel assembly. Place the I/O board in a static dissipative bag. Replacement. Remove the I/O board from the static dissipative bag. Insert the I/O board ribbon cable into the I/O board ZIF connector on the system board and press the locking bar down to lock the cable into place. Caution: use care to prevent damaging the ZIF connector and ribbon cable. Place the I/O board onto its alignment pins on the display panel assembly. Press down on the I/O board ribbon cable to adhere it to the display panel assembly. Place the I/O board bracket into position on the I/O board. Replace the three 3mm P0 Phillips-head screws that secure the I/O bracket to the display panel assembly. Insert the rear-facing webcam ribbon cable into the rear-facing webcam ZIF connector on the system board and press the locking bar down to lock the cable into place. Caution: use care to prevent damaging the ZIF connector and ribbon cable. Place the rear-facing webcam into position on the display panel assembly. Important: take care not to touch the camera lens. Replace the shield tape that secures the I/O board ribbon cable to the system board. Tow the tab on the upper speaker under the retention tab on the display panel assembly and lower the upper speaker into position. Replace the 4mm P0 Phillips-head screw that secures the upper speaker to the display panel assembly. Route the wireless antenna cable through the routing channel on the upper speaker. Remove any remaining solder from the battery contact points on the system board and clean the contact points with an alcohol swab. Solder the battery cables to the contact points on the system board. Important: inspect the solder joints to ensure that they have a good connection and that there is no possibility of electrical shorting. Replace the shielding that covers the system board.